Hey guys, it's Junior. Welcome back to my channel here at Horsepower Warehouse. I have a bunch of cool stuff to show you over on the shop production side, but before we get into that, I want to show you some cool stuff that we have over here on the inventory side. So usually when you go to buy a car, it's all about practicality and gas mileage and things like that. I live in a world where we are not obstructed by things like practicality. We sell fun. We sell dream cars, things that you take out on the weekends usually, or if you're going out with your buddies or maybe even the significant other, it's the special car. We try to strive for the special stuff, not the A to B type of stuff. So I have my two Impractical picks here of new stuff that just came in. First up is this Factory 5 coupe. This thing is awesome. It's a 351 Windsor based Factory 5 actual car, so it's got all of the chops to back up. It's sporty looking. It's a hot rod through and through, but this thing actually will perform. Full tube chassis, the same kind of performance orientation that you would get out of the Factory 5 Cobra kits. They've kind of bred into this kit as well. 351 Windsor. I think this one is stroked and bored to 408. Don't quote me on that, but I know it's got plenty of power available. Dual 4-barrel carburetors. You can see that they integrated an electric power steering into this car, so at lower speeds you can kind of work your way through the parking lot. What a really, really cool color. Super wide rear end. Now, this is a really cool car, but my Impractical pick for today is going to be over here, the Morgan. So this one I think has previous celebrity ownership. I'm not going to quote who it was. I think Moody Blues or something of that effect, but nonetheless, really, really cool car. I had the opportunity to spin this around the parking lot and I fell in love immediately. So I already have the aviator cap and goggles picked out that I would ride around in this thing with, and man, if the sun were shining, I could definitely see me pulling this bad boy out of the garage. I've never driven one before. Super, super, super cool car. So if you are looking for something eclectic, maybe that'll fit the bill. I know a lot of my viewers are C2 Corvette guys, so we actually got new inventory in. This one has not been listed yet, but I like to give everyone a sneak peek of, what's gonna become available. I value you guys, so this one is, cool car. Good color combination too. Before we get over in the shop and I show you what we've accomplished in the last 2 weeks, let's get into this one. So I get constant inquiries on whether or not I actually will travel to your state, fly there and inspect a car for you. I don't do that, and the reason being, my philosophy is simple. When you make a friend, sometimes friendship is temporary. When you make an enemy, man, you make an enemy for life, it seems like. If I were to fly from state to state, dealership to dealership, and do thorough inspections on their C2 Corvettes for you guys and give you my honest opinion on what the car is with photographs and proof and everything, not opinion, just the facts, just state what the car was, I would make a friend with you, but an enemy with that dealership. So 9 times out of 10, people either don't know what they have, or there's hidden damage, or the story isn't as it seems. So that's why I'm not going to fly to you and do an inspection on your car for any amount of money. I just don't wish to make that many enemies in the industry. People, a lot of times they don't want to know exactly what they have, or it's not good news at the end of the day. This one came here, beautiful car. Guy just had some questions. What do I have here, Junior? I do offer to put it on my list, spend a few hours on it, and if it's something that I feel like you could benefit and we could benefit you, it's at the end of the day, I'm not afraid of improving your car. I just want to be completely transparent in my process all the way through. I found something weird on this one. Can you guys identify what is going on here? So this is a tri-power 435 horse 427. It's a JE stamp, which is L71. But what is this? Do you guys recognize this logo? That is a Winters logo. And you'll notice that the heads are not Chevrolet orange. They're actually cast aluminum. Well, this has a really, really rare set of L88 or L89 heads. You can see the IU signification on the rear of the valve cover here, which again is for an aluminum headed car, but this is a JE engine block. So what a kind of strange combination. I would venture to guess that these are probably $8,000 to $10,000 heads on this car just by themselves. Now, of course, they're not correct for, you know, what this car was born as, but at some point, someone had a set of really, really cool Go Fast goodies, original Go Fast goodies that they put on this engine. So happy to show that. You can see that this one's ready to go back into its owner's garage. But we are going to be doing a light restoration on this. I'll keep you guys updated what we're doing with it as we get going through it. But I just wanted to share with you guys, and maybe some of the Corvette experts out there can kind of chime in. Why would I have a set of Winters aluminum heads on my 427 here? Now, I've read in the Corvette forums that, you know, there was some theories that you could get an L71 with an aluminum head option, so to speak. It would be an additional line code or something to that effect. So if there is a NCRS or Bloomington judge, you know, watching this right now, maybe chime in if there's something I'm missing. But it looks to me like they just had a really, really cool set of very rare aluminum heads, and they went ahead and opted to put them on this car. So yeah, a neat find nonetheless. So we'll make our way over to the shop side. I have some other stuff to show you. Another split window. So when I'm quoting my restorations, I have a base package. That means on every nut and bolt restoration that I do, there are certain things that get done every single time. Obviously, complete disassembly of the car down to every single nut and bolt. I do a powder coat package on a lot of my cars. I do brake lines and fuel lines and all the bushings, and probably 99% of the hardware on the vast majority of my builds just get outright replaced. There's a base package that I do to every single C2 Corvette that I touch. How does it get more expensive? Well, when you get into fiberglass damage and bird cage damage, that's when every car becomes a different restoration. For instance, this car came in with absolutely no fiberglass damage. The bird cage was in good condition. So I did not have to spend those hours that I would have to on the next car. When you get a car that has collision damage or potential bird cage damage, it's got to be time and materials. And that scares you as a customer, and it scares me as a shop, because we both don't know what I'm biting into until I've stripped and exposed the things that are covering it up. So this car is going to be a good example of, you know, what can happen when you open up a Corvette. How deep can it go? I do due diligence until the end. I spend hours with bore scopes and flashlights and mirrors, and I look at a car for you. I do so much due diligence that, you know, it's very rare that I open up and find something that I didn't kind of already know. I didn't see, you know, kind of the writing on the wall, so to speak, about what damage I'm about to find when I do strip down the paint or, you know, get into the fiberglass. So that's kind of the slippery slope with these Corvettes here is, you know, I want to be as honest as I can with all of my customers. That's how I repeatedly have so many Corvettes here, is my honesty. You know, all the way through, I'm not going to tell you a tall tale. I'm going to tell you this is what we actually have here with your car, and this is the path to making it right. Whether or not this car is a good candidate for, you know, that path is up to you, and, you know, we discussed that, but we'll see what we get when we dive into that. This car, I'm choosing wheels. I am really kind of liking the Grand Sport wheels on this. I want something that is vintage and that would look appropriate on a C2 Corvette, particularly a split window with flares. So it's gonna have to be, you know, 15 by 8-inch wheels. It's gonna have to be wider, but I really like the look of the exposed rallies, color matched black. Well, this would be white wheels if it were a real Z06. The customer likes the idea of black wheels on this car, so I'm thinking gloss black rallies to make it like a Z06 look, or Grand Sport wheels, which come in dark charcoal, or I believe you can get the satin black centers in the Grand Sport wheels as well. So those are the two kind of options that I'm looking at right now for this car. I feel like both would do really good justice to the build. It's going to be a fantastic look either way, but I wanted to see what you guys think. Comment down below, what would you put on this car? Moving into the Resto mod update, you can see how we have all of the interior wiring kind of blown apart right now. We are undoing a lot of the wiring that was done on this car, and then we're going back and just making everything neat, tidy, and most importantly, super functional. The gentleman that owns this car, this is gonna be his take out to dinner car. He wants it turnkey every single time, does not wanna break down. This is an LS3. It isn't a factory chassis, but good conversion, lots of good components in this car. The final execution on the build just wasn't where it needed to be, and that's how it ended up with me. But we're happy to take this the last 10% of the build so the guy can actually enjoy this. Because man, what a really cool car to take out to dinner. I can't imagine, you know, the amount of looks that you get when you pull up to your local steakhouse in a Resto mod split window with forge lines on it. That's a cool look. I don't care who you are. So it's not just me back here in the shop. My tasks, my duties are so varied here. If you're new to the channel, you may not even know who I am. My name is Chris Zalamel Jr. My father and I actually founded this business. 2 years ago, we sold the business, but I retained my kind of position as head of restoration. So what I do here is I not only lead the guys in restoration, I'm a technician, I work on cars myself, I'm helping as much as I can, in addition to helping the logistics of the dealership over there. I have trained myself to fill every available position under this roof. At one point, I've done everything here from sell cars to mop the floors to, I had to train our detailers, so I had to train myself how to wet sand and buff a car. I mean, it goes on and on. I had to find our painters, so I had to train myself the correct methods and components and how to achieve a good paint job so that I knew the questions to ask my painters. It goes on and on. Fiberglass, when I started with the restoration, I didn't know anything about fiberglass work. I had to do so much learning on correct fiberglass restoration. I've cross-trained myself over the last 15 years in so many different positions here that I feel like I can achieve almost anything under this roof. Just I have to accept with myself that I can't do everything under this roof. That's kind of where I get caught up. I just want to do it all. You know, I want to be out there washing cars as much as I want to be cleaning the bathrooms, as much as I want to be, you know, doing the body off on this restoration. So my tasks here, I just run around like crazy all day. I love my job so much, but that's kind of just clarifying, you know, if you come to my facility and you see me running around like crazy and you wonder what the heck is Junior actually doing, man, I'm doing quite a bit. But we do have 2 full-time, just badass guys working back here with me. One is Sean, one's Xander. Both are just becoming gurus on these Corvettes. Sean has been working with me, I mean, right next to me for years now. Xander, we've been training for almost, I think, a year now. Xander's been here. So he's really been picking up as well. I have two guys that we absolutely get it done, and that's not counting the team over at Keach's for the engine side of things. That's not counting all the guys over at Mainly Upholstery for our upholstery deal, the guys at powder coating, the team at the body shop. So it's not just me and my two guys here getting it done. I have several teams of people that I count on in order to make these restorations turn out how they turn out. So, and it's taken me 20 years to find the right guys at this point. It's really coming along though. I'm super proud of where we are as a team. This one I haven't shown you guys yet. This is a chassis as it comes from Vet Products of Michigan. So you guys can probably guess. Take a look at that. Oh boy. That's how I sum this one up. Oh boy. But this will be beautiful when we're done, and I'm excited to show you guys the process. So, what do you think? Does this scare you? How many split windows do you see with trailer hitches attached to their rear bumpers? The Marbo car is coming out really, really nice as well. Thank you, Xander, for busting your butt on this for the last 2 weeks, and this car. Man, it seems like every video I peacock around this car and talk about how cool it is, but I love it. When you're building a resto mod, what's important to you in the engine bay? Sure, this is a Crate LS3. It's a 525 horse, really, really nice Chevrolet Performance engine. But when you're putting it underneath the hood of a several $100,000 C2 split window resto mod, what is acceptable to you? Are you cool with just having exposed coils and a regular aluminum valve cover like you would have, you know, on a standard Camaro SS? Are you cool with the plastic intake manifold and the truck components, or not truck, but the factory car components on the front, as far as, you know, the stamped pulleys and things like that? You know, what's important to you when you pop the hood? Are you okay with this, or do you want better components? On our other resto mod, we've opted to update a lot of the components that I just listed, and after kind of discussing the same with this customer, we found that we're going to have to do the exact same thing, because things like the front drive system, this is fully functional. It just does not look anywhere near a full billet front drive would look. Same thing with the valve covers, the billet valve covers, you know, a high ram intake, really kind of spruces things up under here. You can spend $8,000 to $10,000 and just gussy up items under the hood, but man, does it make a big difference in the final build of the car. You know, you pop the hood, do you want it to look like a factory Camaro SS engine, or do you want it to look like something that was custom made? So I'm super excited to show you guys also the progression on this build, because we're doing really cool stuff with this, in addition to the really cool stuff that we're doing with the gray car that is already off at paint. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Until next time, take care.